We are speaking about anger management, and let's focus on the idea that anger isn't you, it is a coping mechanism. I am Sue, your personal transformation coach. Have you ever said to yourself, I'm like this because my dad was like this. I'm like this because it's just running in my family. My mom is very angry, and so is her sisters and everybody. If that is your concept, you are a victim to your anger. If, however, at any time you have asked yourself, why am I so angry? In that moment, you step into power, because now you will start looking for a solution to this anger, and you understand that it is not you, it is not part of who you are. It is a learned behavior that you are applying to get from life what you seek. So there are these two ideas that we constantly got to consider as we move through finding the solution to the anger. That is, if you are looking for a solution. So yes, we can learn our anger habits from our primary caregivers, from the family at large. Yes, you might have had a horrible experience with a bully as a young child at school, and the only way you could deal with it was to get angry and actually go over onto attack with this bully. And now you have set yourself into a pattern that where you feel threatened or something like this is the habitual behavior that comes to the fore. However, often anger, and even with what I've described before, the seed of that anger might be fear or guilt or hurt, a feeling of being unseen, unvalued, unheard, because that is where the root cause of that anger might be captured. Because something happened in your life, you got angry because you were not valued, you were not seen, and you had valuable information or an act to give to that situation, and you were just overlooked by the bully. You were not valued enough for who you are as a person, and you had to be broken, and you're angry about that you could not be who you truly are. And that will become the root cause of that anger, finding that seed moment where that pain, that emotional pain set in, and how you are trying to cope with it. And especially when we come from a background where we had involved parents who were very busy at work, or some parents aren't just not emotionally available. Well, you would not have received the guidance that was needed for you to find your own value in that circumstances or that situation. The moment you then say to yourself, why have I got this anger? You start to open the doorways for you to look beyond just accepting that this is me. This is not a DNA genetic fault that you have within you. There is something you can do about it. And the most powerful tool you will ever find about your anger is to become conscious, to become aware the moment the anger starts welling up inside of you, is to find out what is it saying to you. Because as an adult, you are reacting from the pain of the young child. Yet, as an adult, you might be experiencing pain as feeling that you're not valued, that you're not heard, that you are not seen, any one of those things. And so the moment you can understand what is the trigger or triggers of your anger, you now have the possibility to actually do something about it. No other person can change enough for you to not have the anger, because then they must walk on eggshells all the time. And that is a different kind of abuse that nobody should allow in their life. And so for you to be free of your anger, you need to do something to become free of that anger. And it becomes a daily choice And so, yes, in the beginning, you are going to fail. You are going to lose your temper. You are going to go into a screaming match. The trick is that can you come back later and sit back and say, all right, what triggered that? What was the cause of that? And with time, you will start catching yourself as that anger starts pushing up. As you start feeling the first flutter of that anger, you will be able to stop yourself and say, okay, what's at play here? The reality is that what we feel that we are not given, we have to claim. So yes, eventually you will have to go for help. You will have to get somebody to guide you and help you through this, clear that back history. Somebody who can give you the necessary tools that you will need to help you through this, and then for you to make a daily choice in every action that you take, whether you're going to buy into this anger or are you going to become the master of the anger. That is where your freedom lies. That's where your power lies. That is who you truly are. And eventually with time, that habit of not buying into the anger in that split second will become the fallback, the knee jerk, and you will eventually be rid of the anger. It is hard, I do understand it, because we all act from a place where we have these knee-jerk reactions and we're not even aware of it because we're mostly in a sleep state because we're busy with yesterday and tomorrow. So we're hardly ever here in the moment. However, I do think you can do it, and I do think that there's a magical life waiting for you in the future. I wish you best as you set out. Always remember to be kind to yourself. Remember, there are only a lot of beliefs that you bought into, and those beliefs can be changed. And we will chat soon.